You've been sabotaging your gains for years and nobody told you. That 60-second rest timer on your fitness app? It's destroying your progress. I know because I wasted 2 years chasing the pump, keeping rest periods short, feeling like I was working harder than everyone else. Meanwhile, the guy resting 4 minutes between sets was getting twice my results with half my effort. What if I told you that new research shows 3 to 5 minute rest periods produce 20% more muscle growth than the traditional 60 to 90 seconds we've all been taught? What if everything you learned about keeping the intensity high and feeling the burn was actually preventing you from building muscle? So, where did this obsession with short rest periods come from? Let's go back to the golden era of bodybuilding. Legends like Arnold Schwarzenegger popularized high-volume training with minimal rest: supersets, drop sets, giant sets. The goal was metabolic stress: create the pump, chase the burn, keep the muscles under constant tension. And for bodybuilders using performance-enhancing substances, this approach worked. Their recovery capabilities were enhanced beyond natural limits. But the fitness industry took these protocols and applied them to everyone, regardless of context. Then came the CrossFit era and HIIT culture. Intensity became the buzzword. Rest was seen as weakness. If you weren't gasping for air between sets, you weren't working hard enough. Fitness influencers started posting workouts with 30-second rest periods, claiming it was optimal for fat loss and muscle building. The problem? None of this was based on controlled research for natural lifters focused on progressive overload and strength development. Let's talk about what the science actually says. In 2023, a comprehensive meta-analysis published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research analyzed 23 studies comparing different rest intervals. The findings were clear: longer rest periods, 3 to 5 minutes, resulted in significantly greater strength gains and hypertrophy compared to short rest periods of 60 seconds or less. Specifically, subjects resting 3 to 5 minutes between sets experienced approximately 20% more muscle growth over 8 to 12 weeks, compared to those resting 60 to 90 seconds. But why? It comes down to 3 critical factors. Factor 1: ATP replenishment. When you perform a heavy set, you deplete your muscles' ATP, the energy currency your cells use. It takes approximately 3 to 5 minutes for ATP stores to fully replenish. If you start your next set before full recovery, you're lifting with compromised energy systems. You can't generate the same force, you can't move the same weight, and you can't create the same mechanical tension, which is the primary driver of muscle growth. Factor 2: neuromuscular recovery. Your nervous system needs time to recover between intense efforts. Short rest periods lead to accumulated fatigue, which diminishes your ability to recruit high-threshold motor units, the ones responsible for moving heavy weight and building strength. Factor 3: volume load. Here's the kicker: when you rest longer, you can maintain higher loads across all your sets. Let's say you're doing 4 sets of squats. With 60-second rest, your sets might look like this: 225x8, 225x6, 205x6, 205x5. Total volume, 5,750 pounds. With 4-minute rest, your sets look like this: 225x8, 225x8, 225x7, 225x7. Total volume, 6,750 pounds. That's 1,000 more pounds of volume. 17% more mechanical tension on your muscles. A 2024 study from Brad Schoenfeld's lab took this even further. They compared 1-minute rest versus 3-minute rest in trained lifters over 8 weeks. The 3-minute rest group gained significantly more muscle in the quads, chest, and triceps. The short rest group reported higher perceived exertion but lower actual results. They felt like they worked harder, but they didn't grow more. But what about the pump? Doesn't metabolic stress matter? Here's the nuance. The pump feels amazing. It looks great in the mirror, it gives you a psychological boost. But research consistently shows that mechanical tension, the force your muscles generate under load, is the primary driver of hypertrophy. Metabolic stress contributes, but it's secondary. Think of it this way: you can get a massive pump doing 50 push-ups with 20-second rest periods. But you won't build as much muscle as someone doing weighted dips with 4-minute rest periods, progressively adding weight over time. The pump is a signal. Mechanical tension is the stimulus. And here's what nobody tells you: when you rest longer and lift heavier, you still get a pump. It just comes from moving serious weight, not from accumulated fatigue and lactate buildup. When I finally extended my rest periods to 3 to 4 minutes, I felt guilty at first. I felt lazy. I'd see people doing circuits and supersets, and I'd think, am I even working hard enough? But within 6 weeks, my bench went from 225 to 245. My squat jumped 30 pounds. My physique changed more in those 6 weeks than in the previous 6 months. And I was actually spending less total time in the gym because I wasn't doing junk volume. So how do you implement this? Here's the practical protocol. For compound lifts: squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press. Rest 3 to 5 minutes between working sets. Use a timer, don't guess. Your perceived recovery is not accurate when you're fatigued. For isolation exercises: bicep curls, lateral raises, leg extensions. Rest 2 to 3 minutes. You don't need quite as long, but still more than 60 seconds. For conditioning or fat loss circuits, short rest is fine here, but understand, you're training for conditioning, not maximal muscle growth. Progressive overload is king. The goal is to add weight or reps over time. Longer rest allows you to do this consistently. Track your workouts. If your numbers aren't going up, you're not building muscle, regardless of how hard you feel like you're working. And here's the mental shift. Stop equating breathlessness with effectiveness. Muscle growth happens from progressive mechanical tension, not from how tired you feel. All right, here's what I want to know. How long are you currently resting between sets? Be honest. Drop a comment below with your typical rest time for squats or bench press. And here's my challenge. For the next 4 weeks, extend your rest periods on your main compound lifts to 3 to 4 minutes. Track your strength progression. I promise you'll be shocked at how much more weight you can move and how much faster your numbers climb. If this video just changed how you think about training, hit that like button and subscribe to Peak Pulse. We're building a community that trains smarter, not just harder. No bro science, no fitness industry BS. Just evidence-based strategies that actually work. And if you know someone who's constantly rushing through their workouts, chasing the pump but not seeing results, send them this video. They'll thank you later. Remember, patience builds muscle. The pump is temporary. Strength is permanent. Rest longer. Lift heavier. Grow bigger. I'll see you in the next one.